Thanks for joining us, Larry. Appreciate your time. How do you think the election is going to go today?
I think it's going to go my way. I think people are fed up. They're fed up with the crime. They're fed up with the rise in homelessness. They are really, really angry at the hypocritical way this man shut down this state, shut down businesses. A third of all small businesses are now gone forever. He sat up there yucking it up at the French Laundry restaurant, incurring a $12,000 wine tab that we paid for. I don't know what he ordered, but I assure you it wasn't Mad Dog 2020. His own kids were enjoying in-person private education while shutting down in-person public education for the kids educated in our government schools. 80% of them were Black and brown. I only mention their race because people like Gavin Newsom pride themselves in caring about Black and brown students. And Michael, before the pandemic, 75% of Black boys could not read at state levels of proficiency, and those levels are not particularly high. Math scores even worse. Half of all third graders could not read at state levels of proficiency. They were denied a whole year of in-person public education. Now, the majority of Black and brown parents want choice in education. They want the money to follow the child rather than the other way around. They want to be able to put their kid in a charter school, a private school, homeschool, or God forbid, a religious school. And that's what I support. Gavin Newsom does not. The biggest obstacle towards school choice is the California Teachers Association. The biggest donor to my opponent, Gavin Newsom, the California Teachers Association. Yet every 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, Black and brown parents and voters pull that lever for the Democratic Party that is stopping the first step toward escaping poverty, which is to finish high school. One presumably where you can read, write, compute at grade level. For the very first time in our state's history, people are leaving California. We've had a net loss of population. And when middle class and working class people leave, they cite as their number one concern the price of a home. The average price of a home here in California just hit $800,000. That's 150% above the national average, largely because of the power the environmental extremists have had over Gavin Newsom and have had over Sacramento. We're having rolling brownouts because we're not adequately investing in our energy grid. We've got poor fire management. And we have a lack of water because we haven't added in any real way to our water infrastructure in about 40 or 50 years when the state was half its size. Apart from that, Michael, he's done a great job.
Excellent points. And Gavin Newsom's been a longtime adversary of gun owners in California. We've long disliked him, and this is a huge opportunity for us to get rid of him. So we're looking forward to that. We're very familiar with Gavin, even before he was a governor. As governor, if elected, what will you do? Why will gun owners like you far more than we like Gavin Newsom? What are you going to do for it?
Well, I believe in a little something called the Second Amendment, without which the First Amendment is pretty useless. A court just ruled that the so-called assault weapons ban here in California is unconstitutional. I say so-called assault weapons ban because, as you know, these are just cosmetic things that guns look big, bad, and ugly, and they want to ban them. There's an editorial, not op-ed piece, which means opinion. Editorial, December 1993, I believe it was, LA Times, all but said, let's do away with the Second Amendment because we're too irresponsible. We shouldn't have guns. Only hunters and collectors should have guns. That's the attitude of the left. That's the attitude of people like Gavin Newsom. Every time there's a mass shooting, as you know, there's a big hue and cry for more gun control legislation. We have the most draconian gun control legislation already in California, and it's never enough. Their real agenda, as Mark Shields, the guy that ultimately founded what became Handgun Control, Inc., the ultimate goal is to get rid of guns altogether because they feel that Americans are too stupid and too irresponsible to have them. And Michael, one more point. Whenever something happens, whenever there's a so-called mass shooting, notice nobody, even people on Fox News, never ask the following question. How many people are alive every year because he or she was able to get a firearm and break off an attack that would have caused serious bodily injury, if not death? There's a criminologist named Gary Kleck in Florida. He says every year, Michael, 1.25 million Americans use a firearm to defend himself or herself. Out of that number, 40% say, but for the firearm, they would have been dead. That is way more people who are alive than are dead because of the illegal use of firearms. Nobody ever brings this up. Gavin Newsom never brings this up. Democrats never bring this up. The left never brings this up. It's really, really confounding to me. You know, there's an instrument known as an automobile. 25,000 people get killed every year because of it. Are we talking about banning them? You know, guns have a lot of benefits. Let's talk about the benefits, for crying out loud.
Now, let me ask you, this is a nuts and bolts question. I've been critical of your campaign. Full disclosure, I voted for you. But I've been critical of your campaign recently because I don't feel that once it was clear that you were by far the front runner, I don't feel that your campaign shifted effectively enough to expand your message to people that the most important thing is that you vote yes on the recall. We need more people to get in there and vote yes on the recall, because if we lose that no, it doesn't matter if you come in first by 10 points or 99 points, we won't be governor. Was I wrong
Yes.
in my criticism of
it? Yeah. Hell yeah, you were wrong. And you should be I'm serious. You should be criticizing my Republican rivals. They're the ones who've been sniping at me. I haven't said one word. Let me finish. I haven't said one word about my Republican rivals. However, they took a lot of shots at me. I said in the very beginning, should have turned our cannon fire, pardon the expression, on Gavin Newsom, because you're right, unless 50% plus one votes to get rid of this guy, it doesn't matter what the rest of us do. Unfortunately, my Republican rivals, with one or two exceptions, did not follow that advice. I believe had we followed that advice, and that's the reason I didn't participate in the debates. What's the point? We all know what the problems are: crime, homelessness, the rise in the cost of living, the failure to properly manage the forest, the fact that we haven't added to our water infrastructure in 40 years, rolling brownouts, the way this man ignored science, slammed down the state, allowed his own kids to enjoy in-person private education while denying in-person public education to the 80% of Black and brown students who are in our public schools. That's what we should have been talking about. And in my opinion, had all my rivals been talking about that, we would be having a different conversation right now.
Well, we just have a few more hours left for people to go and vote. If that yes vote is so crucial, other than someone showing up and voting for yes on the recall, what else should they be doing in the last few hours?
Calling your friends, calling your families, calling your coworkers, get more people to turn in that ballot and vote yes on the recall and sign it. And if you don't trust the mail, you can follow it online or you can drop it off at a voting center. Yes on recall. If you're unhappy with the crime, if you're unhappy with the rise of homelessness, if you're unhappy with the fact that a third of all small businesses are now shuttered forever, if you're unhappy with the fact that we've only gained 50% of our jobs pre-pandemic as opposed to 2/3 national average, if you're unhappy with the price of a home, which is now 150% higher than the national average, if you're unhappy with the fact that people are leaving, if you're unhappy with the fact that businesses have left this year than have left all of last year, and the rate at which businesses are leaving is twice the rate at which they've left the last 3 years. If you're unhappy with all of that stuff, please vote yes on the recall and get 10 friends to do it, and we'll get this guy out of here. And then I've got a suggestion or two as to who ought to replace him.
Larry, I very much appreciate it. And you're a gun owner too, right? You actually train. I believe you've done some training out at Front Sight in Nevada. Is that correct?
I've gone to Front Sight several times. Hell yeah, I'm a gun owner. I have guns strategically placed all throughout my house. So no matter where a bad guy comes in, he and I are not going to have a very long conversation.
Hell yeah, I'm a gun owner is the best answer I've ever heard a candidate give to any question ever. So Larry, thank you very much. Best of luck to you. I hope we're victorious today. Everybody listening, listen to Larry. Get 10 friends to vote yes on the recall. That's crucial. We have to win that yes on the recall, or the whole thing was for naught. Good luck, Larry.
Thanks, Michael.
Work hard today, and thank you.
God bless.